How important was 1998 for you as a player?
I mean, it announced me, I suppose, to the world. And I played for Liverpool. I won a Golden Boot in my first year as a 17-18-year-old. I was known. Liverpool are one of the best supported teams in the world, so I was known, but doing it in a World Cup just sends you to a different level, I suppose, in terms of reach, people that know about you. I was getting 500 letters a week, I suppose, while I was playing at Liverpool. As soon as I came back from the World Cup, I was getting 5 sackfuls, probably 10,000 letters a day in my fan mail. It just changed my life, the '98 World Cup.
So with that being said, do you mind if we have a little walk through of that goal? Go down memory lane and have kind of...
I don't need to watch it, I've seen it that many times.
You can give me a bit of a rundown of kind of what you were thinking and or the feelings, or does it even feel like it's you now?
Well, it's 20 years ago, so it's certainly surprised it's not in black and white. Yeah, well, the first thing I remember is the ball coming to me and well, just watch the goal first and get a shiver in my spine, and then I can talk about it. I think the first thing is when Beckham's passing me the ball in that type of area, you think to yourself, right, keep it. Keep the ball, control it, give it Incy or Batty or someone, just keep the ball. But then I just noticed their midfielder just creeping, and I just thought, okay, he's goal side of me, but he's too close. I can get past him if I have a good touch. So I managed to take the touch with the outside of my foot and wriggle free of him. And then it was only then that I thought, goal. And beforehand, I didn't have I was just trying to get free of him. But as soon as I wriggle free, you can see here, I sort of lift my head up and I see there's another defender, and that's when I obviously take it to the side of him. That's the most important touch of the whole goal. If I take a touch too narrow, he obviously tackles me. I can easily get past him, but I can kick it 20 yards to the right of him and give myself an impossible finish. So it's the balance between taking it close enough to him that he can't foul you, can't get the ball off you, and taking it too far out to make you finish even harder. So that was the perfect touch.
So it's interesting you say it was that touch, because to the majority of people it's that first touch that sets you free. And it's from that moment on where it seems so natural. That was what you were brilliant at. You got the ball at your feet and you were gone.
With a goal like that, you can't really, you're talking such fine margin, you're talking great defenders, you're talking, the game at the quickest pace. So I don't know how many times I touched the ball, maybe 4 or 5 from touching it near the halfway line to scoring. If one of them is not good enough, then you won't score. Every goal, every touch is vital. So the first one, as you say, to break free of the defender. As Bex is about to pass the ball, I'm probably thinking, take a touch back to your own goal, because normally a defender, their first priority is make sure you don't get in that side. And I just saw him sort of halfway as the ball's coming, I saw him almost being quite aggressive, being cheating a little bit, and maybe thinking he can nick the ball. And then as soon as he gets level with me, I think, well, you made a mistake, I'll beat you in a foot race as long as my first touch is good. So you're right, first touch is the most important thing. But every stage after that, it has to be perfect. Otherwise, as I say, you go too wide, you make the chance too hard or whatever else.
So after that game, because that game there are so many stories that came out of that game, how was it to deal with that full spectrum of emotions? Kind of as a team, losing the game in that manner, there was the late goal, that was, the Sol Campbell moment, there was the David Beckham moment. How was it for you to deal with the personal success of, you've introduced yourself to the world, but then at the same time, your teammates going through hell.
And me going through hell as well.
How was it to deal with that pure, full range of emotion?
I mean, it's hard to say, I suppose. I know what I felt at the time, and I know what I'd do differently if it was now. Everyone kept coming up to me as if it was patting me on the back, saying, "Oh, your life's going to change. What a goal, brilliant!" All these compliments. Everyone putting their arm around me, saying great things. Yeah, I had, as you say, this mixed emotion. We'd just been knocked out, and that was the overriding thing. We're out, and I was gutted, upset. I mean, World Cup. Exactly. This is what I dreamt of. I wanted to win it. I thought we were going to win it. I might have been naive, I don't know, but I still think we should have won it. And yet, all those emotions, and then I'm getting told all these great things all the time, and then so I suppose I didn't think it was hard at the time. It's just that's what was happening. That was what was going on. But if I had the time again, being a bit more older, experienced, the first thing I would have done was spent a bit of time with David, because he was upset.
Yeah.
The rest of the lads were obviously gutted, as I was going out. I would have been much more team orientated. But I don't look back at myself and think you were stupid for not doing it. I was really respectful as an 18-year-old, even though I just scored that goal, even though I probably, my fame had just rocketed. I was still playing alongside Alan Shearer, who's scored 10 times goals more than me. I was playing him, with Sol Campbell and, David Batty, Paul.
Were figures like that really important in terms of levelling you out, in terms of you're an 18-year-old there?
Absolutely.
Having Alan Shearer on your shoulder going, hold on, well, there's a bigger picture.
Yeah, none of them said that to me, but I was above my age, I think, mentally at that. And that's probably why I could do it. And as I say, I don't look back and think I was wrong for not putting my arm around David, but I didn't feel as if it was my
responsibility to do that.
Arm around David, but he's more famous than me, he's better than me. I had a real respect for others, and I got back to Liverpool. I still used to drive around in my old banger until I won 2 golden boots and scored in a World Cup finals before I'd even consider being on the same level as someone like Robbie Fowler or Steve McManaman and things like that. So yes, I would have done things differently if I'd been older, but as things stood, I was still looking up to these players and still very respectful of them. So it was a strange set of circumstances.
Now, when you did get to retirement, please tell me if this is a misquote. There is a quote of you saying, "I retire in the knowledge that everyone knows where they were when that goal nestled in the top corner of the Argentinian's net." So as a player who, as you said, won Ballon d'Or, you played for the biggest clubs in the world, is it safe to say that that goal was the best moment of your career?
I think it was the goal that catapulted me to, to fame, to stardom. People know me. If someone stopped me in the world now, if I went to some country and said, and saw someone, 9 times out of 10 they'd say Argentina. And I probably am, I know I am very thankful, very fortunate that, some people have great careers for 15 years and they make one mistake, and that is what the first thing people will say to them is that mistake.
Yeah.
And when I look back on my career, I had the Argentina goal that people do know where they were when they watched it, of my generation. Obviously kids don't nowadays. People do. Yeah. And you can't escape that, and that's great to feel as if when I did something, people know where they were when I scored a hat-trick against Germany in their backyard to qualify for the 2000s. They do. That's from my personal day. If I could live one day again, it'd be the FA Cup final. That was just, to me, being dead and buried against Arsenal to score 2 in the last. When I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I ran around the garden commentating to myself.
I remember
and Michael Owen scoring in the FA Cup final.
I remember sitting in my friend's front room watching that goal.
And that's, to me, looking back on my career, when people like yourself say something like that, I had moments where people knew where they were when I had a few moments. Not when Michael Owen scored an own goal or Michael Owen missed a sitter, or I was fortunate that I didn't have any of those shocking or missed a penalty in a World Cup to get us knocked out. Things like that is what you dread, and thankfully I look back on my career with happy sort of memories. Well, I'd say the most hostile was probably El Clasico.